So you're trying to tell me that your Facebook ads aren't working? Let's talk about that. What's going on, everyone? Hayden here, coming back at you with a brand new video. And in this one, we're gonna be talking about what to do if your Facebook ads aren't working. We're gonna talk about two main points as to why they might be working and how to fix them and test those different variables, as well as something that you need to keep in mind and consider that most people just don't. This is not gonna be a crazy long video, but it's definitely not gonna be short, and I do have a special video coming out tomorrow for Cyber Monday, which I'm super excited about. I did finally get the whiteboard updated. I know a lot of people have been requesting that. Black Friday's been insane. I've been crazy busy, running on about 3 hours of sleep as of right now, but we're feeling good. So we're gonna get this video done. You guys already saw the title and thumbnail and everything, so you know what it's about. Before we jump inside of my computer, you guys already know I got notes because I got all that good stuff written down for you guys, but before we do that, be sure to join the family by hitting that nice link and subscribe button down below and drop a like on the video, show some love, let me know that you enjoyed it. And I think that's all, you guys. Let's jump inside of my computer. Okay, so obviously there's a couple main reasons why your Facebook ads might not be working. The first one being targeting, okay? I do have a couple main points we're gonna talk about. Again, we're going through two. We will talk about a lookalike audience, but for right now, Facebook ad, I'm gonna call it cold targeting, okay? When you're going through selecting your interest, putting arrows, anything like that. That's gonna be the first tell to whether or not it's working, okay? And in point number two, these two flow together and they're the two main variables you should be testing. But assuming you know everything else is working, right? The other stuff we're gonna talk about in this video, the right product, you have it the right way, everything's structured perfect, congruent, everything's good, but it still doesn't work. Then it comes down to your targeting. So let's talk, I know we've made videos, you guys can go back on the channel and like see exactly how we're setting this up. Right now, we're just gonna be inside of this Google Doc. The way we're setting up, structuring, and testing our targeting isn't very complicated, okay? I like to do 3 ad sets, and I know we've talked about this in multiple videos, and I simply like to change only the interest, okay? So we're experimenting with different targeting. Now, assuming you have an ad that does break even, that means that you know the product has traction, right? It has momentum. So what are you gonna do in that situation? I know a lot of people who end up just cutting it off, or like, you know, they'll let it run and slowly it'll just become not as profitable and they'll die off and be at a loss and then they'll kill it. But you can build off of that, okay? And maybe you don't know this right now, but you have to knock off 2 narrows or 2 interests and add 1 more, you know, a completely different one to make it profitable. And there's so many different variables you can test with, okay? I would highly recommend do a narrow for engaged shoppers. I do this on pretty much every single one of my campaigns. We'll talk about lookalikes in a second, but I do that simply because let's say I'm targeting 5 different interests, right? I usually stack like 4 to 7, kind of in that range. Again, it's not a set number. I usually don't go below, but I will go above that slightly. And I love doing a narrow because let's say you pick 7 different interests, right? So you know they're interested in one of those things. Wouldn't you also want them to have a history of buying that? Okay, so that's definitely something you want to be testing. Now, assuming you're doing a lookalike audience, so for a lookalike, test one that's basic. And by basic, I mean don't actually change anything. So you just have the actual lookalike audience itself. Don't go stacking interest. You really just want to start it off with one that's broad, okay? I normally, if you guys have watched other Facebook ad videos on this channel, again, you can dive back and look into those. We've talked about how we're structuring things and what size audience we're looking for. Typically for me, my sweet spot is right around 500,000, and I like for it to be between like 2 to 300,000 and $1 million. If a lookalike audience is, let's call it 4.3 million, I would still run it because I'm just gonna let Facebook do its thing, okay? I've said it in videos and I'll say it again. I trust myself more than I trust Facebook, but when it comes to a lookalike audience, I let them do their thing. For one, not for a campaign, for one ad set, okay? And inside of there, then I can do other ad sets where I maybe stack a couple interests on top of it. Maybe I do interest and a narrow, or just a narrow, because then it'll take, let's say we're doing a lookalike audience and then we add a narrow for engaged shoppers. That might take it from 4.3 million or whatever the example was that we just used and bring it down to 700,000. So that pulls it back into our range. It looks like the people who have added it to your cart, whatever, viewed your content, whatever you're setting that action, the conversion action for, and then they also have a history of purchasing. Okay, that's why I love using engaged shoppers. That for me is like definitely a major key, but this is just for targeting. So that's assuming that everything else is good. Let's talk about how, you know, because your targeting could be great, but you're still not making sales. That might be because of point number 2, your product, okay? So those, you know, targeting and your product, they have to go hand in hand. You could have an amazing product, but if you don't target the right people, you're gonna get no sales. And so then you might think it's a crappy product and get rid of it, even though in reality it's a winner. And vice versa. You know, you could be targeting a perfect audience that would buy your stuff, but they're just not interested in that specific product. So if you know you have a winning product, that's when you would go and just start testing the targeting. That's when you would just simply break this down and focus on this. But but you have to understand, we've made videos on product research and stuff, but those are the two main variables that you want to be testing. So test different products with different audiences. Eventually something's going to line up. Because once you have a winning product and you put that with the right audience, that's when things will blow up, right? You know, you'll eventually hit something that lines up, but it will blow up from there. Now, that's assuming you present it in the right way, which is the thing I wanted you guys to consider. How are you presenting it? This could mean not just the pictures, which is what most people think, the ad copy, what emojis you put in the ad copy. When they go to your website, right, they're not landing on the home page, they're landing on a specific product page. How do the pictures look? What are the colors, okay? What's the pricing? What's the compare at price? You know, does it make sense? Is it illogical? Look at all that. Okay, how are you structuring the actual product description? Where's the secure checkout badge? What secure checkout badge are you using? All these different things. So you have to make sure every single point is congruent along the way. You have to make sure it lines up, otherwise you're not, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna get the sale, but you will lose sales. People will drop off. You know, let me give you a little bonus or something kind of, it was like a personal issue I had back when I was, I'm not gonna say getting started, it was a solid 4 months in. I knew I had a winning product, okay? And this is when I was really kind of in the field, in the trap, whatever, testing with Facebook ads, okay? And so I was working on the targeting. Oh, someone's trying to call me. We're not gonna be able to answer that right now. So I was focused on the targeting, right? That was like my main problem, and I just couldn't figure it out. And it does date back to the fact that, first of all, I didn't know how to do targeting properly. I didn't know about narrows. I didn't understand, you know, that little checked box under the interest that says expand interests. You gotta uncheck that. Obviously we've covered that in videos, but little stuff like that. So if you're not properly testing the targeting when you have a winning product, and again, you don't ever know 100% if you do, I did, but like, it really comes down to the target. So you have to understand what to do when it comes to the targeting. I literally keep everything the same, right? I keep the same pictures, I keep the same posts. I use the entire same Facebook post, right? I make that inside of the page post in the business manager, and I'll use that for the same ad sets. The only thing I'll be changing once I know all that's working, the website's good, the aesthetics of the site, everything is perfect, is the targeting. So you guys really need to narrow down on that. And there's a lot of different practical things we can touch on. One thing I'm curious to know, we're gonna be building, you know, I know we did a Facebook ad series like a week or two ago. I'm gonna be doing another YouTube live this coming week. I don't wanna put out a date, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, once things die down from the Cyber Monday and everything, which is gonna be crazy all weekend and all week. But let me know what kind of content you guys would want to see about Facebook specifically on a live stream. I want to know you guys' specific problems, your questions, what you'd want to see on that live stream. We can go through, build out a campaign, make a post, whatever. So definitely drop it in the comments down below if you have any specific problems with Facebook ads, because I'm going to jot those down and kind of build off of that, okay? That's where I take a lot of ideas from. I do make a lot of the videos that you guys request, because hey, I think we have, let me check, I think we have over 100 videos on the channel right now. Which is crazy, so it does kind of get hard. I understand where these vloggers are coming from. It gets hard to keep coming up with new, fresh content. Yeah, we have 118 videos at the moment. This will be 119. So, hey, if you guys have ideas, I'd be more than open to hear about it. And if I think it'll bring value to everyone on the channel, you'll definitely be seeing a video on it. With that being said, you guys, if you enjoyed the video, show some love by hitting the like down below. And as you know, we post every single day on this channel, so I'll be seeing you in tomorrow's video. Peace.